Hello, my name's Lesley Atherton and this is an email exchange called Missing Persons. To missingpersonsupport@yahoo.co.uk from beckywatson333@gmail.com. Dear Sir or Madam, I'm writing to your organisation because I don't know which way to turn and I need to speak to someone who might have a chance of understanding what I'm going through. I searched for missing person support in my web browser, expecting to find update on the many top-ranking pages I've already looked at over and over and over, but out of some form of contrariness I kept clicking down to lower and lower ranking pages, and there you were, a brand new website, a brand new phone number, a help service for people like me. I can't speak about him, not out loud. I can't open my mouth and expect the inadequacy of its tumbling words to explain how I feel and what I need. But I can write it down, so I hope you don't mind my emailing you and sincerely hope that one of your volunteers might be able to write back. It's lonely, as I'm sure you know. Your website says your volunteers have all experienced what I'm experiencing, so you'll also understand the desperation and sense of uselessness I feel. Perhaps everyone who has lost a loved one feels this way and goes through precisely the same process. I know it's likely, but somehow that makes it seem too simple. All the circumstances, all the relationships, it can't always feel the same. Surely when your alcoholic father goes missing to live on the streets for a few months, before ending up alive, if not well, in a police cell somewhere, it doesn't raise the same agonies as the unexpected loss of a treasured 14-year-old child. That's what I've lost, my 14-year-old son, Brendan. I had him young, as I was only 3 years older than he is now, but I wanted him and loved him with all my heart. Now I'm 31 and he's gone. Though I never thought he would be anywhere other than here with his constant, kindly and decent presence keeping the rest of us going. He was our rock. Please don't think I'm one of those rough single mothers who believes the world owes them a living. I'm still with Brendan's dad, James. We're married and have our own house, and Brendan has a little sister, Sophia, aged 11. We were both doing A-levels when I got pregnant with Brendan. I carried on as best I could, even after Brendan was born. James carried on too and now works as an operating theatre technician. He makes good money and we don't struggle. I did an Open University degree while Brendan and Sophia were little, and after that I did some postgraduate work, becoming a research scholar in educational psychology. So you see, we aren't materially poor. We're responsible people and good people, and we love our children very much. We've cared for and supported them through everything. Horse riding, relationship problems, medical issues. At first I asked Sophia if she knew what had happened to her brother, and she didn't want to tell me because she said I was too upset and too irrational. She thought I'd explode and be mad at her for not telling me earlier. She was right, of course, I was furious, but I did understand her loyalty given how close she and Brendan were. Of course he would confide in his sister rather than in me or his dad. Brendan left me and James a letter. It said, "Mum and Dad, I love you but I have to go. There's stuff going on that you wouldn't understand, and I need to get away for a bit. I have somewhere safe I can stay, so please don't worry. Much love, Brendan." Don't worry, he said. Don't worry. That boy changed my life, the sacrifices we made for him, the love we gave to him. He was a good kid, and we just don't understand where he's gone and why he's not here anymore. 2 days after his disappearance, Sophia showed us the letter he'd left her. It said, "See you in a bit. Remember not to tell Mum and Dad what you know. I'm counting on you, little sis. You tell, I tell. Seriously, I'm not threatening you. Just need to know you won't tell. Don't worry, sis, I'll be okay. Much love, Brendan." Of course, no amount of persuading, threatening, bribery and sneakiness has made Sophia tell us what she knows, if she even knows anything. She claims not. So now I don't know where to turn next. That's why I need the help of someone who knows and who has lived through this kind of confusion. What could it be? Drugs? Alcohol? Crime? I can't imagine. Nothing seems to make sense at all. How could my gentle, studious young man with the beginnings of his first moustache actually be involved in anything which would force him to retreat like this? And how could my little girl have secrets too? What have James and I done to deserve this? Please help. He's been gone 4 months now and nobody else can help. The police have tried, but CCTV footage shows nothing and proves nothing. They've done all they can, and so have we. A different perspective is needed, one with experience and ability and understanding. I hope that's what you can provide for us. Please write back as soon as you can. I'm desperate. With hopeful thanks, Becky Watson. To missing person support at yahoo.co.uk. From Becky Watson 333 at gmail.com. 8:07 a.m. Sam, I received your email a few minutes ago. Your implication that we are keeping secrets connected with Brendan and Sophia was patronising in the extreme, and I immediately intend to report your behaviour to your managers. How dare you treat grieving, anxious and troubled people in this way? It is clear to me that you have chosen the wrong profession for someone of your cruel personality. I shall not be contacting you again, Mr. Watson. To missing person support at yahoo.co.uk. From Becky Watson 333 at gmail.com. 10:31 a.m. I am disgusted that you haven't even bothered to reply to this morning's email from me. It proves a lot. To missing person support at yahoo.co.uk. From Becky Watson 333 at gmail.com. 2:08 p.m. Dear Sam, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you for keeping your cool and not getting angry and refusing to help us. It's all this worry and upset that's made me so erratic. I'm at my wit's end without Brendan. You are right about me keeping something back from you, but I'm so scared of telling you the full truth before we meet. I didn't think I'd need to. I thought we could do all this without telling you. I don't want to lie, but I'm embarrassed beyond words to tell you the truth now because I feel as if you'll just see me as a liar for not having told you in my first email. Brendan's dad is a good man, a good provider and extremely caring and supportive too. He's the kind of dad who takes care to do things right and to protect his children as much as he can. He sacrifices so much for the kids. I, on the other hand, am a very poor excuse for a mother. Brendan knows it, so does Sophia, and now so do you. The only one that doesn't know is James, my husband. Please keep this from him. I'm not sure I'm even brave enough to tell you, for how can I ask for help when I've lied and when I'm somewhat responsible for the loss of Brendan? Perhaps you won't want to assist us once you've read this, but please bear with me. If you read further and think about it, you'll realise the situation isn't as cut and dried as it initially appears. We have been trying for another baby since Sophia was a year old, for the last 10 years. James always wanted 3 children. That's why I spent my time in education rather than going back to work straight away after Sophia was born. It was James's idea to leave space in life for another life to join our family. Problem was, I never wanted to be a mother. I was never what you'd call maternal when the children were babies. Brendan and Sophia are good children now, but I've only recently come to realise the truth of that. It is babies and little children I can't bear, with the way they talk all the time and mess up the house. I hate the way they make noise when you need silence and the way they never give you any peace and quiet. I've had 6 abortions over the last 3 years. I kept all the paperwork in a folder hidden in my craft area in the loft. I never expected anyone to ever look there. Why would they? Nobody else is interested in my life. Don't ask me why I kept the paperwork, but I did. I haven't been thinking rationally for years now. There are so many other questions. Why didn't I use birth control or tell James I didn't want any more children and didn't even want the kids I already have? Why didn't I go back to work or make less space in my life for an additional child, or run away or tell lies or refuse to sleep with James anymore? Why didn't I? Who knows? Sophia had been looking for PVA glue, wool and ribbon trims for a craft project. She rummaged in a drawer and, hidden underneath the felt and braid, she found the papers. They were in a folder with my diaries. Sophia called Brendan up to the loft and together they read everything. They read about how much I didn't want children and how I resented the pair of them from the moment they were born. But what they didn't know, because they didn't read the later diaries, was that I'd grown to love them. I wanted a chance to explain to them how I knew that they knew and to say that I love them now, even though I didn't love them when they were little. And then, before I had a chance to make things better, Brendan was gone. And he'd written that cryptic note to Sophia telling her to ensure not to tell Mum and Dad what they know. Have they another secret? Were they writing in code? I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. Was finding those documents the problem, or was it all just a trigger for something else? Please help, Sam. I am in such a state and feel so responsible. I don't know if my boy is safe or not. Please help. I do love him. I really do. Becky. To missing person support at yahoo.co.uk. From Becky Watson 333 at gmail.com. Thank you for meeting me in town yesterday. I was shaking so much when I got home, and it wasn't just owing to the horribly strong McDonald's coffee we had. Remind me to order tea next time they have no latte. Anyway, our decision was reached, and I knew that going through with it was going to be the hardest thing I've ever done. I did it as soon as I returned home last night. I wasn't being brave, but I just knew that if I left it any longer, I wouldn't do it at all. As we both expected, the conversation was really hard. There's this man in front of me, someone who I love unconditionally and who loves me right back. He's someone who trusts me as much as he trusts himself. Can you imagine how it felt to tell him I've spent much of our married life living a lie? Can you imagine the look on his face and how he must have felt? I tried to tell him nicely, like you would when telling a child bad news, but it didn't work. He misunderstood, and his confusion just made it worse. All the subtle allusions I made went straight over his head. In the end, I blurted it all out. I'm not infertile or menopausal, I said. I've had abortions, lots of them. I don't want more children. I didn't even want the ones I have, not at first. At first, he was shocked. Then the confusion returned, especially as to why I would bring this up when our boy was missing. Couldn't I have waited until he was home and things had settled down? Couldn't I have mentioned my unhappiness when the kids were young? Maybe then I could have received the psychological help I needed. He didn't understand that my actions had an impact, a major impact, on the loss of Brendan. So I had to explain more. My husband was utterly heartbroken, as I'm sure you can imagine. That poor man who has been nothing but a good dad and decent human being. He was in such a state. This wasn't only a betrayal I was guilty of. I was guilty of an attack on the defenceless, on him, on the kids, and on the kids who never were. We both shouted a lot last night, and poor Sophia locked herself away in her room. Then James went out. He even slammed the door, and he never slams anything. I stayed in with Soph and tried to talk to her, but she refused to let me into her room. Instead, I sat drinking on my own. So now everybody despises me because I'm not the person they thought they loved. Now they know I'm not that person, they have no guilt in withdrawing their time and affection from me. My husband left for work this morning. No kiss, no goodbye, no I'll be home at. I'm worried that this will be the way it is forever. Just he and I and 2 lost kids. One estranged and one disappeared. It is no more than I deserve, but I don't want it. I couldn't bear it. I wrote all the above earlier in the day, and things are changed. 10 minutes ago I got the following email. I'm not surprised Brendan has left. Expect me to do the same. Sophia too. I shall collect her from school. Don't be at home at 5 p.m. I am collecting some items to see the pair of us through the next week. I'll send a friend round for the remainder. We'll sort out other arrangements when Brendan's home. Long term, I want you out of the house. For good. Telling him made it worse. It really did. And now I don't know which way to turn. It's 10 to 5 and I'm in an internet cafe on the corner of our road. I can't see the house from here, but I'm in a window seat and can see the road. I'll know when his car turns up. The biggest part of me wants to run screaming to try and recover what I've lost, but I can't. I need to give him space to heal his hurt. So I'm hoping he won't be long, and I'm writing to you so I don't look conspicuous. His car has just arrived, and I'm shaking and crying. I'm hoping he'll come out empty-handed. Even better that he won't come out at all, and that he'll be at the kitchen table when I return, waiting to hug and say sorry and to make everything better. It's already going dark and the house lights go on, first downstairs, then up. I can't see in, but the reflection twinkles from the puddles outside. But James did come out, and he didn't even have suitcases. He'd thrown all the things he wanted into 4 heaving heavy-duty bin bags. He and Soph drove off, and I shut down my computer, finished my coffee and trudged back to what used to be my home. What am I supposed to do now? I'm assuming Dad and daughter will chat and that maybe she'll tell him what he needs to know. A little of it, anyway. But perhaps she won't. Perhaps she doesn't know anything of where Brendan is. And then what will we do? So that's it. Progress report, as requested. I have to go now. I need to sleep and to eat and to think, mainly to think. If there's anything I can do that might help, please tell me. Becky. To missing persons support at yahoo.co.uk from beckywatson333 @gmail.com. Dear Sam, I've given up. They're all gone, and you're the only one I have left. Brendan came home, but not for long. I tried to talk, but he wouldn't let me. I tried to make him understand, make them understand. But Sophia and Brendan and James left, together. You're the only one I have left. Please help me. Becky. From missingpersonsupport@yahoo.co.uk to beckywatson333@gmail.com. This is an automatically generated message to inform you that, owing to local council cutbacks, our missing person support service has been terminated. The office is no longer staffed. All inquirers are directed to their nearest Citizens Advice Bureau. We apologise for any inconvenience this may cause, and we hope all our inquirers have a nice day.